I'd like to call this meeting to order.
All right.
Yes. All right. We have everybody, right? Okay.
Everyone except for Tim and who's that guy from the city?
I think it starts with a B.
Brett. That's right. We were just talking about it, so I was just yeah.
All right. If we could stand for the pledge, that would be great. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, we got that done.
Okay, so the first is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Anybody?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda for the library board meeting minutes and the expenditures.
Hooray.
That's a second. We usually do, right?
That's what we
Yeah.
usually do. And then we ask for any discussion before the vote, I think.
Yes. Is there any discussion? No. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion approved. Financial reports.
Yeah. So it's been a while since I've been here, so thanks for having me.
Welcome back.
It's
All good?
like coming to this meeting, it's like, man, I haven't been here forever.
Oh my God.
There wasn't a whole lot of activity this month, mainly just interest income in the money market account. There were no new checks going out, and then they did finalize the audit.
Yep,
So we do have that.
they did, and I should speak about that. Should I?
Well, I don't know if you want to do it now or later, it doesn't matter.
Well, basically, at the end of the audit, they just closed out the Fund 121. Is that right? 120? The county fund, and moved it.
Steve, that's under the agenda item number 6B. So
Oh.
I don't know if you want to talk about it now or move that up. but-
Let's
Oh.
talk about it there.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, that's it?
Yep, that was it.
Glad Deb's here. I'm gonna mess that one up.
Okay. Do we have to make a motion or anything like that?
We don't have to do that for the financial
Okay.
report.
Perfect. Library director's report.
All right, the first thing I sent out, I believe I sent out the naming rights, am I not mistaken, the Sonoma County?
Yes.
I just wanted to get that out there for discussion if anyone has anything that they wanted to talk about with that. If not, we can discuss it at a later time. We don't have to discuss it at this meeting. But I think we talk about this room being the BI room, which actually stands for Bibliographic Instruction Room.
Oh, gosh.
So this was allegedly a learning space for teaching bibliographic instruction. I don't know. I don't know if it's ever been used for that. I thought it had something to do with the boardroom. We don't have a name for the Storytime room other than Storytime room, and we don't have names for anything else. It would be an opportunity for us to potentially have revenue for upgrading rooms if we offered naming rights in the future. It's not an agenda item to, and I would look at that policy and we'd have to adjust it to meet our needs in West Bend. So if a board member wants to do that, or if several board member wants to do that, they should talk to Deb, and then Deb will tell me, hey, fix this up, and then we'll vote on it at a future date. But I wanted to just have it out there for discussion before I started messing around with it.
Are you thinking of like putting a price on each room, or is it just kind of open?
Yeah, so I think like the Sonoma County did, there was prices. Now, I believe that Sonoma County was a California library, so probably 10% of whatever they did might be appropriate for us because
Yeah, right.
I think that's what the currency trades in these days between California and the Midwest. I don't know exactly what it is, but this could be the Matson room
Makes sense.
for maybe we're looking at $10,000 for 5 years. If you want to do that, or maybe Joe wants to do it in your name.
There we go.
Right?
That seems
Yes.
Or, I'm sure there's former board members that would want their name on something, potentially. Anyway, so we could ask them if they wanted to donate to the library.
I like that idea.
I like having a limit on it, having a 5-year limit unless it's ongoing funds, because it gives other people a chance to get in.
Yep.
Things do change, and if we were to go with like amenity room, and amenity is no longer here, then that would be silly, so.
Yeah.
The next one, the strategic plan update, and this actually is going to play into the brand redesign and the website. In our strategic plan, we have creating some committees, and I want to just make sure that I got the right one. There's a fund development committee and a community engagement committee. And this is community engagement. I don't believe we have a marketing committee. But I guess I would look for people who are interested. I'd like to have a couple board members involved in working with the website and brand if we go forward with that. And I guess we can deal with it at that point because we haven't made a decision to go forward with it yet anyway. So that they offer some hours of consultation and sessions to review the logos, and they offer, I think it was 2 logos and then a couple changes in there. We can look at that later. But I'd like to have some board members who are interested in the brand moving forward. But we'll talk about that more later. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of this report. The updates. We had created a community engagement committee that includes 2 staff, 2 board members, and 2 friends of the library. And I'm thinking that at this point, it might be a challenge for the friends of the library to provide 2 members that could meet regularly. We can ask them. But we might want to say just 2 community members, and then it could potentially be friends of the library or people who work with the friends of the library that might be interested in that position. So the community engagement, this does fit quite well with the website now that I read the tasks. So it's the marketing initiative, engaging the community in the programming needs of the community, presentations to the public, and reaching out to steer the direction of the library. So back when we get, or at this point or any point, if we'd have some volunteers, that would be great to be in that committee. I don't know that it would be a huge time commitment, but when you do look at creative projects, sometimes it takes longer than policy. So be aware that would be a time commitment in that regard. The next, I'm going to skip ahead to rethink the library space. We are working on that. There's several ideas that the staff are floating around, and we would talk about that a little bit more as we get closer to the end of the year. We're still looking at our collection development and making sure that we have a right-sized collection. Recently, Brad printed off reports to look at what other libraries have for proportional representation in their collection, nonfiction, fiction, that kind of thing. So we're looking at that right now. We're still looking at our nonfiction, reducing that size. We were very overly stuffed in the nonfiction, so it looks kind of bare up there right now. It's going to get a little bit barer, but it's also going to look good in the end when we finish that off. But that's going to help us to determine what we can do and as far as what spaces we would use in the library to move things around. So I would say we will have that determined by the end of the year. I think we gave a deadline of December for that, for the staff. And we are pushing that at every meeting that we go through, that we talk about our collection development. And at that point, I think we'd be ready to consider bringing in an architect to say this is what our space needs are, getting some feedback from the community to say these are things that we'd like to do. I've got some I think what are brilliant ideas, but I'm not sure that they're brilliant ideas. I'd like to share them now, but I'm not going to, because I think they're exciting. And Brad thinks they're exciting too, I think. At least that's what he tells me. But there's some, as we go through this, we are learning new things about our building, things that might be easier tasks to accomplish. And with that building study, we would go through major systems, do a review of major systems in the library and their lifespan, those kinds of things that we need to be aware of. We'll have a new roof by that time, so that'll be done. We will have 20 years on that, at least. But then all the internals, electrical, plumbing, and things that we need to consider are, and I'm always talking about, but will need to be looked at in the plan is, do we have enough bathroom space for people? We have one ADA compliant bathroom from what I remember, if that's correct. So we're an aging community for one thing, so we're going to see a lot more people that are going to need that space. And people are diverse, so they have different needs, and we need to be respectful of that. So hopefully that new design will make sure that everyone's comfortable and welcome here. And I'll keep my excitement till later as far as that goes. But maybe if you want to talk about it off camera sometime, just give me a call and we'll tell you what those ideas are. The next goal was develop staff retention strategies, and I collected all the IDs from people who have left the library, and I looked at them the other day, and I was like, that was a long time ago we had so much turnover, and we haven't had a lot of turnover since then. We're doing quite well. I'm very happy with our team, and I don't know that anybody's looking to move on. They all look to move up, and we are providing some opportunities. We have 2 staff members that are going to move into LA2 positions. So we will be hiring for circulation to fill those gaps in the future. But things are going quite well. I think we've got a great team there. So one of the things was planning in-service days. We're doing that. We have quarterly half-day in-services. Next one's on Monday, right? And hiring more programming staff, so we're working on that as well. Creating staff advancement and recognition opportunities. Well, I just talked about that. We do have people that are moving up, so our system's working. And besides the fact that we're rewarding our people inside the library, we opened up our application very briefly, and we got more than a half dozen applicants, and they are pretty good. So I don't know if the word's getting out that it might not be a bad place to work, and they're applying, but it feels really good. I'm not stressing about filling gaps like I was when I first came. The next goal is creating a fund development committee that includes 2 staff, 2 boards, and 2 friends. Again, we might be asking a lot from the friends, we might not be, but we a lot of this is deals with creating the foundation or the endowment fund through the Greater Milwaukee Foundation. And if we were to work with the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, a lot of this would be taken care of for us, so it would be a short-term commitment. But that again is something that later on we should look at voting on if we're going to move forward with that, or a different solution or a different perspective.
Is the 2 staff, 2 board, 2 friends for both the fund development committee and the community engagement committee?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a caveat to working with the Milwaukee? Like, do we have to pay anything to be working with them, or?
If I remember correctly, it's 1% for the first $1 million. Was that what it was?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then it reduces after that, so 1% of your total fund for the first $1 million, and then they had a prescribed spending plan of 4.5%.
4.5, I think.
Yeah, 4.5%
Yeah,
per
their
year.
funding pricing was very good compared to most of the foundation areas around. Because I've looked into a few of them, and the Greater Milwaukee Foundation is probably the best.
And one of the benefits with
Steve, keep in mind on that one, Joanne Klein might be interested in working on that.
Yeah.
So I could talk to her because she's done a lot of investigation on the potential to set up a foundation.
And Jay has some knowledge about foundations and stuff too, so from what I remember, yeah.
Awesome.
So maybe we'll want to talk to him about that too. Oh,
Education Foundation.
yeah.
Keep in mind, we can always just assign people to committees.
We could. Well, that's your job, Deb, so we'll wait till you're here to do that.
Slide that right now. Let's see, who is it here? I nominate.
Or I guess Jesse could do it since she's. Well, one thing to note, and I'm going to digress from this plan first, just a second, is Brett could be appointed to a different committee. I hope that he's back at the library board, but this is the reorganization night at the city. So I imagine, I didn't hear anything of the new mayor changing it, so I imagine he's going to be back with us. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't be appointed to the library board. But it could be somebody else that we get, which could be fun too. So just so you're aware of that. And then the other two goals that I have is leadership staff will develop a set schedule for examining collection use, which we're already working on. That's going to be an ongoing thing, so we're going to get to a point in the next year where we're saying this is the time that we're looking at this part of the collection, and this is the part of the time we're looking at this part of the collection. So it's ongoing, rolling, always examining the collection to get rid of the stuff that doesn't belong there. It'll get a lot easier as we look at reducing that size of that nonfiction collection, which is the biggest bear right now. We won't be reducing our fiction collection much, it looks like. It looks like it's been pretty stable, and as you looked at my last report with the turnover ratio, looks like everything else is going great. So nonfiction was the only one that we needed to consider, and we'll have to add titles to it after we get through cleaning all the other stuff out, probably.
Can I ask where the stuff is going? Did the book sale get a lot of it?
Book sale, and then also shipped off to
Yep.
Better Books.
Better World Books.
Better World Books,
Okay.
and they took care of them.
Okay.
When we discard something, it's our practice, and we didn't write such a policy, but it's our practice to give it to the Friends of the Library, and they can determine what to do with it. So it becomes their property at that point. And we help a little bit with the shipping things if we're going to ship things, because I put labels on it, I print labels and put labels on, but otherwise it's just going to Better World Books. And there's not a lot of really great things that are going out. So we're looking at books, and when I pull them off the shelf, even the latest report, which was the ratio report, the turnover ratio report, we were like, well, there's going to be some good stuff here that we got to watch out for. And we did pull some things that are Wisconsin specific and set those aside because they're going to be treated differently, or local specific. But really, when I'm pulling a book off, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. This needs to go on.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by a couple titles, but generally it's worn out, old material. So the last one is explore tying programs to collections in order to increase circulation. We did get a couple more of the display shelves, and we'll be using those for tying collections to programs. And Tara got this rolling one that she loves. So that's pretty much it for the strategic plan update of what we've got going on right now. We'll keep you up to date. I'll have a more colorful, well-developed plan in the future, but I just wanted to give you that heads up.
Awesome.
Did you email that to us?
I did not. Would you like it? I can do that.
Yeah.
I will email it to you. Yeah.
All right. Library Board President's Report.
Okay, on the president's report, I have one thing to discuss, and we'll have to vote on it. It is the bonding, the insurance bonding for Joseph in his treasury position. The bill came in towards the real latter part of last weekend. That's why it didn't appear on, excuse me, on the agenda. But it's like a 30-day net, so I think we have to pay it relatively soon. Correct, Joseph?
Yes.
Can you just explain how much it is and answer
Yes.
if anybody has questions?
I have the paper right here. So it was $336. And it covers then for the full year of May 16th of 2023 to May 16th of 2024. It does not specify the dollar amount, but I think it was like 50 or 100,000, something like that, that's covered. Because last year it was realized that it was a little short, so we almost doubled the coverage on it.
And we have to pay that every year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would, we just take that out of our checking account, Joseph?
That's what we have been
Instead of
doing.
going
Yeah.
to one of the fund balances?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is like if somebody fraudulently steals their money?
It would be like if I probably.
Yeah,
It's specifically covering the treasurer.
If Joseph goes on a very
Yeah.
nice vacation,
And it's a government mandated.
Right.
So,
yeah. Oh, it's not enough
So-
to really steal. We don't have the millions.
All right. So could we have a motion to pay the $336 for bonding insurance out of the money market checking account?
I move that we
Motion.
pay the $336 out of the money movement checking account for the bond.
But yeah.
For the bonds. A second?
I second.
Okay. Now you can have discussion, and then Jess, I'm gonna let you call for the,
Sounds good. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
All right, back to me. So I don't know that I sent any very much explanation with this, but our former Friends President gave me this person's name for web development, and I learned about what they did, and I said we need to look at branding too, because our logo is a little off, and I don't want to be. What happened last time is we did a website, and the web developer changed our logo to match what their vision was for the website, I believe. And it doesn't really represent, other than having a clock tower, which is an architectural feature, it doesn't really represent the library. I talked to the Streamline Jacks, and they didn't provide any information really, but they do offer to do a rebranding package, and that was $3,800, which is up to 3 hours of communication, so that's information gathering sessions. That's why I would like library board members to be involved. Along with staff, they'd provide 2 logo designs, which is great because it's easier to pick from 2 than it is to pick from 5. 3 rounds of reviews and changes. This is on the second last page, I think. It says pricing. And then they provide everything for us to do digital and print logo use at that point. I did say, we did talk about the West Bend Community Memorial Library and said maybe, and I think I mentioned this in my email somewhere, that we could potentially reduce that nickname to be West Bend Library or something like that. So they are aware of that potential. Our official
Will
name.
anybody in the community be upset with that change?
I don't foresee any issue with that. And I talked to Jay about it, and he didn't see any problem with it either. Our official name's
Just don't know
West
where it
Bend
is.
Community Memorial Library. At some point, we might change that, but I'd just as soon just leave it. It's no reason to change it because it is what it is.
Okay, so just change it on the logo and the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were talking about it's going to be the West Bend Library or whatever, because it's a lot
We
easier
might
to
want to
say.
get some community, we do want to change the name somewhat down the road, get more community input into that.
Yeah.
Because some people are just like you said, they're familiar, that's the name.
Yeah, that's what we, yeah.
And this would kind of solicit that feedback in a way that, you know, we
Yeah.
will hear if people are upset with it, that they will tell us that this is not
Mhm.
what we want, and then we can go back and revisit it at that point.
There you
So,
go.
How
um,
many people do you think used the name West Bend Community Memorial Library when they talk about us?
probably just me.
And the people
So
in the
mainly it
contract.
was just for marketing purposes at this point.
Right. And then on that same page that they provide the pricing, they talk about the website, what's included and what's not included. As I was thinking about this, I said a medium fit for us might be a good choice, which gives us 8 templated pages. But I'm also comfortable with a small website, which is 11,125 was the project total, but then they give us a discount. So I'm comfortable with either one of them, honestly, as I think we will expand the website as time goes, and I'm very comfortable with the system that the CMS that they use. I shouldn't have said numbers out loud, I suppose, but anyways, I did. So I have no problem expanding the website on my own, and we can always go back to them and add if we feel that we need more help with the
Steve,
website.
why did you throw out the highest bid?
The highest, having the whole thing done for us.
I'm just curious.
Well, I don't feel that we need that much.
Okay. Brad, when was the last time we did a web redesign? That was about 6 years ago?
Amy,
No, probably 2012,
I think it was 10 years ago.
2013, somewhere in there. Yeah,
Okay, so it's been a while.
yeah, about a decade.
But didn't we do something too with the colors and things when Amy was here?
Yeah.
There might have been tweaking, but the redesign was
Like a
done.
whole redesign,
Yeah,
you're
there was a
saying?
complete revamp.
Yeah.
When I started in 2011, it looked very different than it did, say, two years after that.
Mhm.
So,
I also found out that the system can host our website for us if we wanted to park it with theirs. They did get a new hosting service, so, but that's later on down the road.
Do we know who on the staff would make the additional pages?
It's so easy to do.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll just find someone.
There's three of us who are currently in the web right now working on it, and it's really easy for others to be added and learn how to work it.
So Steve, when there was like the 8 pages, does that mean like the main page and any links that you click on when it goes to that next page
Well,
would be the same design?
there's going to be 8 templated. Actually, and the board could tell me, don't waste your time and go with a large website, which is something that Deb was alluding to maybe, because it does take time. So you're going to get templated pages. So there's the smallest was going to be 6 templated pages. The largest is going to be 12 templated pages. So they're not. If we click a link, so for example, when we click to go to our catalog, and there's a link there, that doesn't count as our page because that's actually hosted by Monarch Library System.
Okay.
So whatever's on a link is not part of the page. Now, if we click a link that goes to another page in our system, so if we say one of those pages might be
The library board.
library board page, that could be a whole nother page. Or we can have it part of another page, like this is about us and it has library board information there. The ideal is to navigate within 3 clicks, so we want to make sure that we're being concise and not putting all kinds of junk on our webpage. We want to have a way for people to give money to us or time to us. Those are important things to us.
We
Our
don't have that
catalog's
now?
our catalog's important.
We don't have
We
a
sort of have something like
Donate, how
that.
to donate?
Yeah, we got something sort of
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
there.
That's important.
But then there's also, like, the Thrivent, we have the bucket for the Thrivent on our homepage as well. So those are things that aren't necessarily their own page, they're just a portion of a page, so. So up to 30 pages would be the full implementation if we did the large. And we have funds to do this, so I guess if the, maybe that's the better way to go, is to just go with the large. And
Well, how many pages do we have now? Do you know that?
we had, I do know that. Just give me a second to look that up.
Unless we combine some pages.
How many visitors do we get to a website on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, Brad?
What have I been seeing? 30-some thousand, maybe?
30,000 annually,
No, monthly.
monthly?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
So it is kind of like the face of the library.
Right. Right.
It's just so easy.
And I agree with you,
Program.
Steve, if we don't need to have a lot of pages, we seem to be doing okay with what we've got, so.
I think when I calculated it was about 20 pages, which would have fallen in the medium website design. So I think that that's fair, and that's why I was going to recommend the medium. If given an opportunity, like all surfaces, it will collect more pages. But if we're conscious about what we're doing on the website and we keep it streamlined and not to use the name or anything, but do we keep it concise and provide the information that people need, we just have to control ourselves a little bit. It's kind of like the collection that got out of control. We can add a lot of things to the collection, but what's important in the collection, we have to sometimes weed, and that's a hard process, but we have to be thinking about that as we do it. So that's why my recommendation was go with medium website at this point.
Deb, I need to change my number. I added an extra 0. I think it's more like 3,000 to 4,000. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I was looking at the picture in my head and I realized the dot moved on me. Sorry for the inflation.
It's still a lot,
That
though.
comes out to.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is a lot.
yeah.
But you're comfortable, Steve, with the medium price?
I am,
You think that will, okay.
and I'm sure they'll be happy to take more money if we want to expand and use them, but I think that we can do this. I think that once we have the real challenge with a web design is getting the template set up and getting it the standard look, setting your standards for fonts and links and making sure that it's usable. After that, it's pretty easy to manipulate and add pages if we want to.
Okay. Thank you.
And they're gonna do the logo, and so we're gonna have a choice of a couple logos to go from there also.
Yep,
Okay. Are you gonna stick with one, or are you gonna have one?
the logo.
Yeah,
We will have one logo, just like MasterCard.
okay.
Just two
I mean,
choices to
it
choose
won't
from.
be MasterCard's logo or just like it.
Because
but-
some groups have the one right
Yeah.
around, and they have a little running trailer
Yeah.
one, so I think one,
Yeah.
whatever, square around, whatever, yeah, fine.
Yep. And that'll be, I mean, they can do the website design before the logo or after the logo, but they have it laid out in the proposal here of how they'd go about it. I think it'd be best to have the logo chosen before you finalize the
Yes.
website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So matches.
So-
Agreed. I like what you have to say about streamlining everything and maybe getting rid of some stuff that we don't necessarily have. The other concern I might have is that because we have like maybe only the 20 pages, I know we can expand, but not being able to find things as easily because we're putting too much on a page.
Right. I think we'll have to have some standards for the staff and say this is what we
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah, don't dream it away.
And then we can always add pages, like I said, it's,
Right.
the template's there. So what they're doing is if you do a medium you're gonna get 8 templated pages. So 8 really designs that you can work with and create another page that's just based off of that other template. So we should be able to do just about everything we wanna do
Okay.
within that constraint. But then we also have to be very careful about what we put out there, because sometimes we put something
Right.
out there, and then somebody says, where is that? And it's only the person that created that asks where it was. Nobody else cares.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they also provide imagery, like pictures and stuff to put on the website, or is that all on us?
All the design stuff they'll do is if it's pictures or things of our library, we'd provide those items. That would be.
I think use some stock stuff, right? There's some stock photos or something like that.
They can.
I thought it was something I read in there.
Yeah.
But that's about, I mean, it's real generic. It's nothing
Okay.
proprietary, as it were.
So I guess they don't do video, which we have a resource for already. They don't do custom illustrations and infographics or other custom designs, so we would provide that if we wanted to. Or they could give us an hourly rate for those items. But they're going to do GDPR and ADA compliances, so that's very helpful. Our current site is not ADA compliant. I can tell you, I can't read the thing sometimes because the links are a crazy color.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I thought it was. 88.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I would,
Steve says no.
yeah, I mean, you can run software to have it checked, but.
Yeah, the contrast is a big issue right now
Okay.
with the links. So the people who have vision problems, that very light limey color is hard to see, and next to impossible to read unless you have really good eyes. And if I stand 20 feet back, maybe I can. I don't know, but it's not good.
Okay.
Okay.
And then they do the initial SEO audit, so they've got all the things here covered that I have friends that do web design, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're looking for a motion to approve the expenditure for the middle class or middle category?
Yes, and the rebranding package, which is an additional $3,800.
So it comes out.
And you're asking that would be out of the strategic plan fund?
Either that, which was my recommendation, I think, when I put it on well, obviously, that's what I put on the agenda, or we could pay for it out of our carryover that we had this year. We have a pretty sizable carryover. So we wouldn't have to move money out of the strategic plan fund if that's a
Right,
preference
but
of the board.
Because of the fact that the carryover had been moved, and we'll talk about this in the next thing after the audit, it's already been moved into fund balance. So it would either have to come out of fund balance, so it's not coming out of your regular budget because it was moved, or strategic plan. So it makes no difference to me. What does the other members of the board think?
Did we kind of plan to use strategic funds for this particular upgrade? So then we should take it out of that, if we talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about a web design coming out of
That's
this.
true.
I think that was just right now through Steve.
Well, I'll make
I
a
guess-
motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we take the funds out of the strategic plan fund to approve the website and brand redesign.
I'll
We have
second.
a motion by Jess.
I'll second.
Now, any further discussion?
The total
If
dollar.
not, Jess, you want to call for a vote?
Okay, all those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
The total dollar amount is?
Math.
19,000.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your minutes, yeah.
19
Okay,
plus-
motion approved.
Yeah, it is 19,000 total.
Total 19,000.
All right.
It's easy math, actually.
It
I
ended
looked
up
at
being
that.
easy, yes.
Okay, the city audit.
All right, now I gotta find my papers again, but the city did transfer the funds that were left at the end of the year into our, you saw that on the financial reports from Joseph. And we had about $230,000 left over at the end of the year, so. Not something I'm proud of, but we'll buy some more books this year, and we're gonna make sure that we get things going. Actually, part of our consideration in our collection development is looking at what other libraries are spending on materials, so that we are looking to be more competitive about providing newer, better, or fresher copies of some things that are falling apart on our shelves that are very well loved. So, but we do have that fund left over from last year, and that includes, I believe, the 11,000 that they found that they took out of our money, but then they gave it back to us. So we're in good shape, is what I want to say. What was that, Deb?
Where's that 11,000 from?
I believe that was health insurance.
Oh, okay. Okay. One of the things also to keep in mind is part of the reason this was so high, remember, they gave us back that money that they have taken for the roof. You know,
yeah.
when they, not the roof, not
For the
roof,
sprinklers.
Sprinkler
Oh.
system.
Oh.
So that was money that they had originally taken and then they put back. So in reality, you were not as far off on your budget as it looked.
Yeah. But still, we've got money to spend, so
Awesome.
we're gonna try to spend it.
Yeah.
That's better to be that way.
And one of the things that I would like to say about that, the normal process had been pre-COVID, I'll just say that. The city would come to us and tell us what the monies were, and then we would authorize movement of that monies into our fund balance. What it looks like has happened then, and you can correct me, Joseph, if I'm wrong, is that the city, when they did the audit, they did the true up and moved the money at that time.
That's correct,
Correct?
yeah.
It's not really a problem. They moved it, we probably would have voted on it. The problem came in last year when they actually took money from fund balances, which they weren't allowed to do.
Right.
So, and if we have something like that come up next year, I've already talked to Carrie that we will get a heads up before it happens so that we can approve it. It's not that we can say no, but we have to pay our bills. So we will at least be aware of what's going to happen before it happens as far as taking money out of our accounts.
Steve, do you think we need to vote on the fact that that money was moved into the fund balance, just so it's on record that the board approved that?
No, it's just if we spend money, just kind of, we only have to vote on things that we spend, not things that we get.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, she's in rough shape. But I'd say it went pretty well. The whole audit process and communication was really good with Carrie.
That's great.
Awesome. Okay, any further discussion? All right, our next regular meeting is May 16th. As far as assigned tasks, I just have down that the board, if you're interested in being on that branding committee, to let Steve know, either email, call, say in person.
Well, I'd like to have
Yes.
people who are, who have a good eye for design. So I think I'd prefer considering that, not just going right to Brett. He may be good at design. I don't know, but
Yes.
Who else isn't here?
Tim,
Tim would be good at that. Yeah.
I'll definitely reach out to him, and Tim, I'm sure would say yes, but he might also, I mean, one of you might think that you have a better eye for design. Although my staff are great, the people that I've got in mind right now will steer you in the right direction,
Nice.
so.
Okay. And one last thing before we adjourn, I would just like to put on record, welcome to the mayor, the new mayor Angert.
Yeah.
And we hope that he can join us for a meeting maybe sometime.
I bet you he will,
I hope so.
yeah.
Okay, so the library board welcomes him.
And who's our other guest?
Oh, this is Tom, he's with the Friends of the Library, he's the
Okay.
vice president of the Friends of the
Okay.
Library.
Excellent.
And Ian's working with us as a student and internship right now, so he's learning to be maybe a director, maybe I don't know.
Wow. All
We'll see what
right.
happens.
Better watch your back, Steve.
I know. I'm always in competition.
Right, I know. All right.
Younger, cheaper, and smarter, maybe.
All right, with that being said, 6:02, meeting adjourned.